Takyikrom is home to about 3,000 people. Inhabitants are mostly farmers. There is no school in the village. The closest public school is at Obwadaka, 2 villages away. On foot, it takes about 1 hour 20 minutes to get to school. For children aged 2 to 9, embarking on such a journey alone can be a Herculean task. Children whose parents cannot afford to transport them daily are compelled to forfeit their education. Florence Nyame dropped out of school when her mother passed on.
I
dropped out of school because I had no one to support me. Most children would love to go to school, but some of them simply do not have the means. 13 years ago, Pastor Martin Akulache was transferred to Elim Christian Center, the only church at Takyikrom. Upon arrival, he struggled to preach to his congregants in a church of about 150 members. Only 2 people could read.
Now members no we need Bible like in Kang. The Nepa Benope, a secretary no ni elder no was for one Benope. And this that one Sandy Pana Master the Penna say you need other people are over to my Bible like in Campo.
When I was transferred to Takyikrom, most of my church members could not read the Bible. Only 2 people could, the church secretary and an elder of the church. On days they missed service, there was no one to help with Bible readings. I inquired and I was told that the closest government school was 2 villages away. Due to the distance, children were forced to stay home because their parents could not afford to transport them to school. That was when I decided to help solve the problem.
Mobilized teachers from neighboring villages shared his vision, and together they started offering lessons to children from kindergarten to class 5 for free, using the church auditorium as classrooms. Mercy Pepra moved to Takyikrom in 2007. A year later, she volunteered to teach the children.
But meantime, now I share school national. Na emu ye den ma yen. Enu ti na bench kra amofra no benches amofra no betina so impono na eye den. Enu ti si ya wo blocks.
When we started classes, it was difficult getting desks for the children, so we had to improvise. We used building blocks and plywood to make temporary chairs and tables for them. Most of them could not read nor write, so we had to hold their hands and teach them how to write the alphabet. Some children would even show up without books because their parents could not afford them. From class 1 to class 5, we all had to manage the church auditorium. Getting the children to concentrate has been challenging. But in spite of all, we have persevered, and when our children moved to other schools to complete class 6, they always topped their class. For me, that alone brings me satisfaction, knowing that our sacrifice is not in vain.
Indeed, all that sacrifice has not been in vain. 15-year-old Sandra Okine was part of the over 500,000 candidates who sat for the 2020 Basic Education Certificate examination. Her dream is to see every child in her village have access to quality education.
Sarah, they say, "Oba can crofure, no abe boy school. Ne have fun so etimi enya baby papa. Na say yon su opua when who say bia oyifi ha na Sophia."
I started Elim Divine Academy from KG1 to class 5. When I was then enrolled in the public school at Obwadaka to further my education. Today, I have completed junior high school. I'm grateful to God, and I pray for the grace to become a woman of influence in society so that I can help my community.
Sarah, they say, "Oba boy me. Na benya baby person. Na me met me abe boy micro in Sokaka."
Pastor Martin Akulache is now headmaster of the school, which is ever growing in population. But there's a problem. The church auditorium is already overstretched. Church members tried constructing a shade to serve as a temporal classroom for pupils in class 3 and 4. But when it rains, classes are suspended. Staff do not have a waiting room. After teaching, they hang around the church auditorium waiting for their next class. Touched by their plight, non-governmental organization MYHELP-YOURHELP Foundation has started constructing a 2-unit classroom block for the pupils They have also provided the pupils with textbooks and stationeries. Nicholas Kofi is president of the organization.
Interestingly enough, the only church in the community that houses about 150 congregants is the same church that serves as a classroom or a school for the community. So you have about 200 to 300 kids sitting in a church room learning. If you have nursery, KG, class 1, class 5 to 6, all gathered at one place. When somebody is saying A for apple, somebody is also saying 1, and you can imagine the chaos and the confusion. So we sought it as a responsible NGO to come on board to partner other sponsors like Jodi Construction to construct or repair the borehole as you saw in Takyikrom. Then to also do a construction of a 2-unit classroom block for Takyikrom. So the kids could have a well-ventilated classroom coupled with branded stationery and other logistics to facilitate their learning in Takyikrom.
For these children, there is indeed light at the end of the tunnel. Faustina Safo for Journeys.